Okay, so to begin with, here's what's going on terrible. This lower roof is a granulated material and it's got aluminum coating on it. They did the same thing up here. Let me show you some things. Separation, splitting the material, and that's just coming up on the roof. This whole thing, since it's a dead chimney, should have been covered in rubber like we've done on other jobs for you. But let's take a look at the drain area. Now, why is this important? Because comparatively, there's a size 11 shoe. This is the area where all the water runs to. Somebody came up here and did a coating, a spread coating. You hear this? It's hot asphalt. It's an old hot tar system. This drain box is completely separated. See this? Same thing here, wide open. Not to mention that the corner post is left open. That should have been closed. That just acts as a diverter. There's no barge capping here like you have next door. Not a huge deal, but here's your problem. This drain is wide open. You don't have to be a roofer to figure that out. You can see it for yourself. There is a very sparse coating on here, but once you get closer and see with the bird's eye view, this is what the coating is supposedly hiding. Again, this chimney has been painted with cement. You can see the mortar there. They just colored over it. And just painting over something doesn't fill in the cracks. Aluminum coating is not a waterproofer. It acts almost like a suntan lotion does for fair-skinned people at the beach. But again, it's not a waterproofer. It's just a UV reflectant to keep the sun away, big bad sun away from your roof. This whole thing is done this way. It looks like somebody tried to spread a coating as much as they could. A silicone coating? Sure. That coats the whole roof and fills cracks because it's a more viscous, thicker, denser material. But this aluminum coating just merely stretches and protects the roof. But once you have separations like this, if you had a split like that in your tire in your car, how far would you get? Let me show you something here. I don't want to mess with that because I don't know how close to closing you all are. But this needs a new roof. This should be cut back because roofing cement does not bond to glass, which is why you can see that it's curling. See that? Away from there, leaving you prone to a leak. Curled up completely here. And that's an entry point. Since everything's painted, you're not going to see this water getting in yet until after you settle in. And then the water makes it back through the freshly painted ceilings in there. But again, I think I've made my point. So here's what I would highly recommend. You ask for this roof to be silicone coated with new rubber placed around this chimney, new rubber placed around that chimney, and modifications to be done to this skylight or to replace it with an entirely new skylight because there's so much natural daylight there. This chimney also should be wrapped, but this isn't your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is down here once you get up close. All these are entry points. They get in, water gets in, splits like these, and what winds up happening is, although it'll run downhill toward the slope of the roof, it'll eventually not just the paint is not the issue. It's eventually the sheetrock, the decking, the lumber, studs. Should silicone coating this whole roof if they're not willing to put a new roof on. I would highly recommend putting a new roof on because this is aged anyway. That's why it was coated, to try to hide the fact. No offense, but just calling it like I see it. But again, aluminum coating doesn't fill cracks. It's just a reflectant from the sun. You can see she's older, which is what was trying to be covered. People usually do this when they're trying to do a quick flip and they think nobody's going to get on the roof and take a look at the condition of the material, but this is the condition of the material. Flecking, separating. All right, and I'll show you the lower one. But before I go down and show you that, again, the aluminum coating is often brought in to try to hide this stuff. Okay. So 700 square foot of this. Again, you get a bird's eye view on it, and you can see all these hairline fissures. That's what the code, and there's no flashing across the back here whatsoever. Listen to this. There's like a, I swear it's grainy underneath there because water's getting under there. Obviously, failed flashing point, failed flashing point, failed flashing point, and the weakened condition of the existing roof anyway. Failed flashing point. So you got 700 square foot of hastily coated, aluminum coated, not sealed, but aluminum coated roofing area with a wide open chimney on all three sides. I already showed you that up close. The front is open. There's no capping, flashing here. This is what the coating is supposed to try to cover. See this? It's garbage. You can see the capping is separating here right across the front. And if that happens at the head of the roof, gets in, it runs down. You got a problem. Critical point is this bay area back here. Again, here's my foot for comparison. So here's the problem. You coat something with a bunch of cracks that's on its last leg. What winds up happening is most people don't give you a bird's eye view and say, hey, this is what's really going on. See this fissure here? It's a foot long. And this is self-explanatory. The drain box was put in hastily. It's not even wrapped in rubber. Somebody threw it in for a sale. It didn't even flash it correctly. That's going to be a problem later. And that's definitely going to be a problem later. That's why it helps taking a video in light like this, because this type of stuff becomes more apparent. And again, this is the drainage area for the entire roof. Okay, now this lower. Here's the thing. Again, you don't have to be a roofer to see that that's wide open. You don't have to be a genius to figure out that this should be siliconed all the way up to keep water from entering this back roof, which is probably why they've done this and then redone this and then redone this, but they've thrown Band-Aids on it that's still crumbling apart anyway. Again, you can see for yourself here. Number one, this is granulated roofing material. It was laid and then coated, which you're never allowed to do because it causes a chemical breakdown. Granulated roofing material is not like smooth rubber, because this is what happens. The petroleum content in the aluminum coating literally starts to destroy and eat this material, chew its way through, because of the adhesive that they use on the granulated style roofing and the petroleum content in the aluminum coating, which is designed to be reflected only. The petroleum content literally eats this at a biological level. This post, which was part of something before, I don't know, is definitely allowing water in because wood is porous and you can see through there. So obviously every time it rains, water's gaining access to this building. So again, because it was freshly painted, you're probably not seeing it, but give it a year or two and then you'll start seeing the spots. This should be cut off and sealed entirely. This needs different material entirely. Look at this. Because that happens on an organic level. So 700 square foot up top. Another 100 square foot down here. What I recommend is rubber if you're purchasing this. 5 is $4,000. If you're going to the table, tell them, hey, listen, meet me on $4,000 for a rubber roof, or you know, that I don't have to worry about for another 20 years, or you do a silicone coating, which is going to be probably about $2,700, which will probably get, no, I take that back. So, it's 21, it's 19, plus another 5. And this is just a little bit smaller. Yeah, top and bottom, You're gonna need 8 rolls. That's $4 grand. Tell them to meet you. Make the difference in at the closing table, closing costs, or yeah, 2,400 to silicone and reflash everything, all that stuff I showed you up top. That's it.